Hello, weebs. I know why you clicked on this, because you like Japan. I'm clearly like that. I am the real-life Sherlock Holmes, and I'm going to tell you about the two most important things that Japan has ever produced, other than, of course, squid hentai porn, and, of course, just Japanese men in general bukakeing over a squid, and that's very attractive, and we all know that. That's obviously everybody's tastes in sexuality. That's great, good for them. But unfortunately, we can't go into too much detail because this is YouTube and not YouPorn, and so we will be going into the much lesser attributes of that great, proud island. And the first one that I think... These are all self-help concepts, by the way, just in case you do this channel. You can clearly tell that this is all about the next point that I'm going to talk about, is from the shitness of this camera. Kaizen, constant and never-ending improvement. Now, I've talked about this before. This is why you should sign up, because I've clearly hit the bottom of the barrel and I'm repeating myself, which is the whole point of this channel, by the way. It is just to repeat itself. So shut the hell up, because that is actually one of the main things about the concept of Kaizen. Now, Kaizen spans back to after World War II, and then the US wanted to prop Japan up in its own wake, which is to sort of work as a blast shield, if you were, from China. And one of the things that they did was that they allowed them to develop an industry. It was very kind of them, wasn't it? It'd be a fucking shame if they did this the rest of Southeast Asia. But Japan got some special treatment. And I can't remember who it was, but it was actually an American that was going into the factories and being like, damn, your cars suck. And they're like, we know. And then they said, there's no way that you're ever going to compete with other car companies in this stage. And they said, we're also aware of that. But he did say this, and this is exactly what John Wooden says, which is a legendary coach in the US. Just in case you didn't know, we're jumping all over the world this episode. It's the Magic School Bus, feet-friendly Geordies, guys. And he was saying that the way that you are going to move forward, the way that you are going to get better, the way that you are going to become like how China is today, this joke of the world of cheap, defective products, the way that you are going to move from there to being better than the Americans in virtually everything that they do, from watches to cars to Discmans, whereas everyone still has a Discman to this day, don't they? And the way that they are going to do that is that they are going to focus on getting just a sliver, just a teeny tiny little bit better that day. That is all you can do in life, because the reason that this is beautiful, the reason that they have a word for this, and that this is just seeped throughout their entire society, except now they're too old to actually enact on any of it, because I think that the youngest person in Japan is 97. But if Japan still had a young labour force, they would be able to be implementing this, as they have been doing ever since the end of the Second World War, which is just this culturally embedded idea, which is something that you never learn in schools here, which is just learned in schools in Japan from the beginning, which is that all you can ever do is get slightly better every day. It is not only possible, it is not only achievable, it is the only way to achieve. Let me explain it to you like this. Do you think that you could get into the Olympics for sprinting tomorrow? Well, if you don't have any legs and you're currently walking around on a cartwheel just being like, sure I can, Mr. Geordies, I don't want to rain it on your parade. It looks like life has been tragic enough to you. However, for everybody else, yeah, you can get there. But what happens if you do it tomorrow? They're going to say, go away and fuck off. What happens if you spend the next 10 years, assuming that you're young enough, next 10 years, just going around your block? You will become one of the fastest runners on earth. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win, but you are going to be competitive. You are going to be competitive in whatever you do, as long as you just commit to this basic, simple concept in life. And as soon as you understand that point, all of the rest of life's mysteries become very obvious, which is nobody ever started up here. Everybody started down here, and then they just got slightly better. They looked at the new distinctions every day. And what happens is eventually those new distinctions that they're registering in their head, say that you're just a baseball batsman. Yes, I'm clearly from America. One of those baseball, American cricket, as I'm sure it's called over there. And you're doing that every day. What is happening in your head? Every time you're aiming for the ball and swinging, your brain is getting a little more of a distinction of these are the possible moves that the ball has to go when somebody pitches it like that. So I can either go for this or this or this. And the best batsmen on earth, I think, have a hitting range of around like 4 in 10. That's the best on the planet. And they get that from all of the distinctions that they have had from going dish, 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 a million times over. That is the same recipe for everything in life. There is a reason that repetition is the mother of skill, and the reason that it is the mother of skill is because when you repeat something a lot, you are able to anticipate, I'm going to make a mistake here, I'll correct that, and yeah, okay, I got a little bit better there. And okay, now that I got a little bit better there, I've realized that I've made a little mistake here. So now I've got to get better like that. That is why you are never, ever, ever going to catch up with someone who has been doing something for 10 years. All you can do is focus on what you are doing and make it way better, which is exactly what Japan did, which is exactly why they dominated the car market. And to this day, I don't know why people get European cars. My Toyota has not broken down. I have tried my best, subconsciously, obviously. I've crashed it many a time because I have one eye and probably shouldn't be driving. And yet it still goes. It's on 200,000 kilometers at this point. Fine. Absolutely fine. When I trade it in, I'm just going to be handing it over to a friend pretty much as a charity act, still going. That is Kaizen in principle, right there. What happened to Toyota, the reason that Toyota are able to make these cars that are pretty much just like the Terminator, in the movie The Terminator, it was also called the same thing, is because they did that. They just looked at every little component that they were doing and saying, okay, could we make this connector joint work a little more efficiently together? Can we just make it so that that like rolls around a little bit like that? And the window wheel shopper, can we just make that go up a little bit better? That, for 10 years, all of a sudden, beating American cars. That's the recipe to success, and I thank you very much, Japan, for giving us the word for it. The second concept that they have that you need to write down, so that's Kaizen, constant and never-ending improvement. Ikigai. Yes, I am a native speaker of Japanese as well. Thank you very much for noticing. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you did. The second one is Ikigai. Now, Ikigai can best be summed up as, if something is worth doing, then it's worth doing well. Write it down. Ikigai. It's just great that they have these small words for it that you can compact into your mind, and then you just go like, oh yeah, I'm not Japanese now. I'll go up to a Japanese person in the McDonald's queue, when they say, how can I take your order in Japanese? I'm just going to say, Ikigai. And they're going to go, oh, okay. Using the best job stuff that I have, I'm going to assume that, no, he wants the English lessons next door. I'm going to shuffle him out of the store, and then he's going to starve to death because every Japanese person is going to do that. They think they're helping, but really, it's just World War II internment camps all over again, isn't it? Thank you very much, Chiang Mai. Let's just be honest, we deserve to be at those camps. They are the master race, aren't they? They're just them and Koreans, which ironically they were enslaving as well, but their societies work so much better than ours. Look, and then the thing is, yes, that's happening there. Absolutely that is. The reason that they have ingrained this into their head, and this I think just spans back to samurai times. I think Ikigai is a really ancient concept of Japan, because it is the same concept that is happening with tea ceremonies. The point of a tea ceremony not only is to just make everybody slow down and appreciate the good taste of a green tea, but I think that it is also just this idea that, look, and I've discussed this before on this show, but anything that you want to do in life, anything that you don't want to do in life, it all is the same thing. If you focus on it, what do we always say? Where focus goes, attention flows. I mean, where focus grows, energy flows, right? Which means that whatever you are focusing on with full attention, doesn't matter what you are doing in life. I'm doing this right now, full attention. Okay? You're just going to have to trust me on that, because you can't see inside my head, can you? Full attention on whatever you're doing in life. What is going to happen? First off, you are practicing Kaizen of the thing that is going to make you a success in whatever field that you are doing. It is going to be a combination of being very skilled at it, but how do you get very skilled at it? By practicing Kaizen, just getting a little bit better at everything, which also flows into the concept of Ikigai, which is Ikigai is, all right, you're putting clothes on the line. Focus on the shirt going on there. Instead of just sitting there thinking like, oh, I wish I could go inside. I did peg them up properly, Mum. No, if you don't like it, you can do it yourself. That's how I put them up. If you ikigai it, I can guarantee you will never have those arguments with your mum again, which builds up all of this resentment, which is another thing of these whole things, right? Like, people do half-assed jobs, which is what most people are doing, because most people are trained in this society from all of the attention-grabbing things that are around them all the time, just being like, hey, have you thought about buying this? What about this? Have you thought about... Just think, like, every single day, there's just all of these things in front of your face all the time, being like, can you buy this? No, fuck off. What about this? It's like people are annoyed at the squeegee guy. You really should be angry at the McNuggets billboards just as much. It's the same thing. However, if you're able to cut through all of that, what is it? What is the key energy source that is going to get you further than anything else? It is the ability to concentrate on something. And the more that you concentrate on something, the better you get at going into deep concentration. That's the thing that's really trippy about it. Not only are you capable of doing it in terms of just time period, but in terms of time, you know how your eyes are always just flickering in and out of just being like, oh, is there a bat in here? No, as there hasn't been for the last 10 years of my life. It happened once, but I don't think that's happening again. All right, back to work. And that's what's normally happening. So when you start concentrating on something more and more and more, this is what Buddhist monks are teaching all the time, that concept that if you are able to focus on just a clock and think about the clock all the way around for 60 seconds, you will master the universe. But the whole thing is, the longer that you can go into deep concentration, the less other people can do it for all the combined reasons of living in the modern world, and most people do not commit to this basic principle, which is ikigai. So you should notice that whatever you are doing at that time, have full attention in it. Pay full attention in it. Try and do the thing well, whatever it is, whether you enjoy it or not, because when you are building the skill of concentration. That's why ikigai is such an important concept to have in your mind. Because if you, no matter what you are doing, are heavily involved in it, that you are trying to do whatever you are doing well, whether it is a conversation, whether it's playing a video game. I don't recommend that you play video games, by the way. Maybe I do, actually. I've got my producer to do some research. I don't know if it's true or not. That it's bad. Doesn't matter. Whatever you are doing, do it with full concentration. Try to do it with full concentration. That really is what the concept of ikigai is all about. Trying to do something with full attention and concentration. Not only will you enjoy it, but you have the building block. It's kind of like a renewable energy. Just think about that in your head. Every time you're doing that, another little solar panel is going up in your head, and you are illuminating your brain with fuel to keep it going in the thing that over the long run is going to make you a success. Everybody that is able to go into deep concentration is going to be a success. It doesn't matter because if they move out of the topic that they are doing, whatever they are doing in life, if that doesn't pan out, they put full undivided attention. The attention that they put into that, they put into something else, that's going to pan out for them. Because other people just do not have the component. Their brains are short-circuiting all the time, going, like, obviously, right? Obviously, if you are unable to pay attention to something, you are not going to be able to do it to a degree that is going to get you to that Kaizen mode of just making it better and better and better and better. And what do you know? All of a sudden, America likes really small cars because the Japanese figured out, nah, it's a far superior product. It's only a matter of time before they realize, oh, okay, you don't necessarily need a tank to get to work. Now, if you like that, make sure that you sign up to the subscribe-only part of Jordan Shanks. And the reason that you should be doing that is because, number one, humor is substitute for your own lips. But the other reason is that I honestly do think this. You don't sign up to Jordan Shanks, you are doing yourself a disservice. Because all of these things like Ikigai, Kaizen, all of that stuff, you need someone endlessly hammering that into your head. Practice Kaizen, practice Ikigai. Because what happens with the human brain? It is just a little monkey chimpanzee thing being like, shiny, and then forgets about it. And then if you have somebody just sitting there being like, no, focus on this more throughout the week, more of those reminders, more of that pumping into your head, these principles. These are the basic building blocks for whatever you want in life. That is what I'm teaching at Jordan Shanks. That is what you are going to get, aren't you? You're also going to come see my live shows. Availabilities in the description. Thank you so much for watching.